What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back to my unit review series for Fire Emblem Heroes, and today I'm going to be taking a look at Aversa, and these are the topics I'm going to be discussing in this review, so let us begin.
Always a pleasure.
Aversa is a red mage flyer and she's the first free mage flyer in the game. Most of the mage flyers are seasonal, and Flying Nino and Female Morgan are the only two flying mages who are present in the permanent summoning pool, and they are 5-star exclusives. Looking at her stats, she has got pretty good HP for a mage, and she's got decent offenses at base 34 speed and base 33 attack, and she's not really all that bulky, but with Odd Res Wave, she can be pretty decently bulky on the magical side with her HP. And comparing her to the other red mage flyers in the game, we have got Halloween Noe and Summer Tana. She is offensively better than Halloween Noe, and Tana has got more speed than her, which is really good for a Blade Tome build, and she has got her preferred weapon which gives her +3 speed, so she's really fast. And both of these mages can have IVs and can have merges, which Aversa cannot. But the thing is that they're super rare and seasonal units, so Aversa doesn't really have a direct competition from the permanent summoning pool, which makes her such a coveted unit in the game right now, and for a lot of people, she's gonna be their first mage flyer. Aversa comes with Aversa's Knight as her preferred weapon with 14 might, and its effect is nothing like it was in Awakening, which was to heal up HP, and it has got a completely different effect. It gives her +3 resistance, and at start of turn, if she has got 3 more HP than the foe, and if that foe is adjacent to another foe, then she inflicts -3 debuffs to all of their stats, and all of their bonuses become penalties, so she basically inflicts them with the panic status and also debuffs them for all of their stats. And this is a global debuff, meaning that her positioning does not really matter. It's the opponent's positioning that really matters in this case, and it does have double conditions. The HP condition is of course there, and the foe has to be adjacent to another foe, and this can be seen in a lot of game modes where foes will just stick together. And in Arena, you do have a lot of units using the reposition or any kind of other movement skills, and even using rallies, of course, in the higher tier arena to just stick together. So this can be helpful, but the problem is that she does not get +3 HP or +5 HP from this tome. It gives her +3 res for some reason, and if it gave her the HP, that would have been much useful. And there are a lot of high HP armor units and dragon units, and it will be really hard for her to trigger this on them. But we do have the dual skills now in the game, and you can see a lot of low HP units in higher tier arena with those skills, and it can still affect them. For example, like +10 Mer Sorin and +10 Mer Shida can still get affected by Aversa. And another problem is that a lot of in-game modes have got these super inflated stats, like the Abyssal maps have got 80+ HP, so there's no way you will be able to trigger this effect against those kinds of foes. But on the other hand, it's really amazing for stuff like Grand Conquest, where units start close to each other and they don't really have inflated stats, and the debuff and the panic status do stack up, as you can see, so it's going to be really scary for emblem teams. But with tactics and drives, you can manage to avoid this effect. You have of course seen this effect in action in our Grand Hero battle. It's absolutely chaotic because you cannot really stick together with your units with her inflated HP. And it's a really cool but situational and inconsistent weapon. It does need a lot of support with Blessing, Summoner support, or units who can reduce HP of enemies with passive damage so that her effect can prevail over the foes. So she really loves any kind of support that can help her keep the Aversa's Knight effect active with increasing her HP. And she's gonna be an arena bonus unit, and you cannot really run stuff like Fury, Desperation, Vantage, any of those skills which require her to be at low HP, because if she's at low HP, then she's really not in the condition to trigger Aversa's Knight. So that's another problem which comes with this weapon. Her slotted skill is HP speed 2, which is perfect because it does increase her HP for the weapon, and speed is really nice with her base speed. And Odd Res Wave with her HP can be pretty good and can give her decent magical bulk. Dragon Fang is just way too long special, and it should be replaced with other low cooldown specials. Overall, she's a fantastic unit despite her weapon, and even with her weapon, you could definitely use some blessings, support to increase her HP and to use its effect. I'm glad that she's in the game finally, and I really like her. As you guys know, I did vote for her in Choose Your Legends 2, and I even made a video a year back, if you guys remember, putting her on my wish list for the units I'd like to see. Now, she does have the plot and the personality which we all know and love, but aside all of that, she does get some sort of redemption and awakening through her paralogue, and we learn about her tragic past. And I really like her playful attitude and her supports with male and female Robin. She just constantly teases them to no end, and they are just on the verge of bursting with anger. So I really like the support. I would highly recommend you check them out. I'm gonna be linking them in the description. And another thing is that her paralogue, if you guys remember, if you played Awakening, is super memorable. The only thing I'm disappointed about is lack of Shadow Gift as a skill, because that was her exclusive skill, but still she's a pretty fun unit to use, and you do get 3 copies of her as of right now, so you could certainly invest into one and fodder off other of them. Resistance Tactic Sacred Seal does exist, and for a mixed team you could easily use that without foddering off Aversa, but in case if you're not using mixed teams or emblem teams, you could definitely make use of Odd Res Wave, which she does have at 4-star rarity unlocked at version 3. And here's some good users of Odd Res Wave. The first one is a really free to play friendly one, which is Legendary Ike. So you could put this on him with Warding Breath and Distant Defense. He will be having much better magical matchups. And Adult Tiki is a really popular unit which a lot of people build, so you could just have this on her. And Odin can also use this with his Odin's Grimoire Refine, and he can be even more self-sufficient and give himself another buff. And if you run something like Defense Tactic, then he can be a really fantastic support unit. And finally, with Berkut Lance and something like Barrier Blade, you could definitely make some nutty builds with Odd Res Wave.
All good things must end.
This is Aversa's first low investment set. All you need to do is give her HP Res 2 Sacred Seal, which is really essential for improving the trigger chances of Aversa's Knight, and Swordbreaker can help her check a lot of sword units in various game modes, and you can even run Green Tomebreaker or Ragsbreaker to improve her matchup against those green units. Renewal can also be run on slot B to make sure that she's healthy and she always has more HP than her foes, and her second skill set is around that only. So she's got Double Savage Blow and Renewal. So with Double Savage Blow, you could reduce the HP of your foes, and Renewal will keep her healthy so that she will have more HP than her foes. That's the basic idea behind this build, and that can help you with Aversa's Knight triggers. But the problem with this build is that you're running Savage Blow on her Sacred Seal over HP Res 2. So she will need some kind of blessing support so that she can increase her HP to a good amount. And her third build is the standard Blade Tome build. As I said, in a lot of game modes, opponents will be having really high HP and those inflated stats, so there, a Blade Tome can be really nice for nuking those inflated units. And our fourth build is a Mage Tank build with the red variant of the Serpent Tome, which has not been released. We only have female Morgan with the blue Serpent Tome, and it has been over half a year. We still haven't got the other variants, so whenever this comes out, you can make her into a magic tank and use her Odd Res Wave productively, which she has by default. So using this, she can reach 49 res, and she can fire off high damaging icebergs with this special. But as I said, the only problem is that this tome has not been released, so this is not really an option she has got right now. It's just a dream of sort, I guess. And then her final build is a high investment build using all of the merges which we can have as of right now, and then using Summoner Support. Summoner Support is absolutely fantastic for Aversa if you want to use her preferred weapon, and you also want to give her a blessing so that you can increase her HP even more. And for slot B, as I said, you do not want to run Desperation, you do not want to run Vantage, and stuff like that which requires her to be at lower HP. So Attack Speed Link is a good option with the mixed team so that you can provide support to your allies. She already has the Odd Res Wave buff, which she can give and also receive herself. And this skill also helps her offensively, and Renewal can be run on slot B as a budget option. And Blue Flame from Owain and Iceberg are also some options for Aversa for her special. And this is a really high investment build, but still I would not really recommend our Flying Duel on her because she doesn't have a lot of merges available, so it's not really all that efficient to give her the R Dual Flying skill unless you're swimming in a lot of Leghorns.
Still clinging to hope.
No other Grandeur Battle unit depends on blessings as much as Aversa because she would really like to get any and all kinds of HP she can have. So blessings are super important part of using Aversa, and you should definitely confer one to her if you plan to use her heavily. And Earth Blessing, in my opinion, is the best blessing for her. Female Grima provides her with the speed support, which is good for all of her builds, and Grima can also check archers for Aversa with her Dragon Skill and Expiration, and Aversa's Knight debuffs to all of these stats is actually really helpful to female Grima in the enemy phase, and she can function much better because she really needs that. Her stats are way too balanced, and they can provide each other the flying buffs, and that's why female Grima is one of the best, if not the best teammate for Aversa. Legendary Ike's +2 attack boost is pretty decent for Aversa, and she can give him the odd res wave buff, but the problem is that both of them share the same color, and Tiki does not really give her the optimal boost which she needs. The defense boost is not really all that useful, and Aversa can support Tiki with the Guidance Sacred Seal, but then she will have to sacrifice her valuable HP Sacred Seal. But the main thing with Earth Blessing is Grima. Now in case you do not have Grima, then the second best option is definitely the Wind Blessing. Gunthra's Blizzard Tome works amazingly with the global -3 debuff to all of the stats from Aversa's Knight, and this makes Gunthra really strong. Legendary Lane Speed Tactic also helps with Aversa's offensive capabilities, and Aversa can make Legendary Lane a better magical check with the odd res wave buff and Laws of Sake, and Legendary Lucina's speed buff is also once again very useful for all of Aversa's builds, and Distant Guard once again is pretty good in conjunction to odd res wave. And if Lucina is running a Link's Lobby skill with Future Vision, they can be a pretty nice duo.
Don't bother.
Aversa's whole game is around keeping more HP than her foes with Aversa's Knight, so having Pain Plus or Savage Blow healers is definitely really nice, who can damage opponents for passive damage and also heal up Aversa so that she's always healthy. And Fallen Takumi can do some passive damage from a distance, which can be really helpful, and Jafar of course can do a lot of splash damage. And as I said, Legendary Heroes are really nice with Aversa for giving her the Blessing boost. And finally, with a Blade Tome set, Fire Emblem buffs are going to be absolutely busted and makes Aversa extremely strong unit. And for her counters, high HP units can definitely ruin her plans with Aversa's Knight, and with their weapon refines they can have even more HP, so it's really hard to trigger this skill on them. And even though Aversa is a red mage, she can have trouble against Legendary Hector and Myrrh, who have got a Weary Fighter effect on their preferred weapon. Passive damage from allies helps Aversa a lot, but passive damage from foes hurts Aversa quite a lot as well, so you have to keep her HP intact from these passive damage dealers. And finally, you've got these common arena threats that always appear like Brave Lyn, Fiarm, and Noe, and these units are always going to be a nuisance for Aversa.
Any more takers?
Now let's take a look at some of the reasons why you may or may not want to upgrade Aversa to 5-star rarity. So Aversa is the only free flying mage in the game with amazing utility offenses. There isn't really any kind of other free unit like her, and if you haven't already completed all of the Grand Tour Battle Elite flying quest, then Aversa can be really helpful. I can remember that Robin's flying quest is really hard, and Xander's flying quest is also a really big nuisance because you've got those 2 green mages on the map which you have to tank. So if you take out that sword fighter and have Aversa tank the hits from those green mages, then it can definitely make it easy for you. And on maps like Navarre's, you can have a field day with Aversa, and there's no red mage flyer in the permanent summoning pool as of right now, so that's why she doesn't really have a direct competition other than the seasonal units. Building up Aversa is quite resource friendly, and she does have a lot of budget builds which can work really well. And some of the reasons why you may not want to upgrade is because you heavily invested into a good IV Summer Tana or Halloween Noe, and you've got a lot of merges going on. If that's the case, then you don't really have a lot of reason to invest into Aversa other than for her Aversa's Knight niche, which is not really all that attractive for a lot of the people. And Asuka trio upgrades and merge core projects are definitely a greater priority for a lot of people, so that's why you might not want to spend feathers on her. So let me know in the comments if you're going to be upgrading Aversa to 5-star or not. And that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then please be sure to leave a like and share this video with your friends who are excited about Aversa and want to build her up. And if you haven't already, then make sure to subscribe for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.